Well, greetings, interwebs. As many of y'all may know, basically I'm just an old country boy from the deep south. And my absolute favorite food in the entire world is southern fried chicken. I would be 500 pounds if I lived anywhere near to a Church's Fried Chicken. I just can't get enough. So today, we're going to make some fried chicken. And to make sure it's done right, I've actually written down all the measurements and stuff to make sure I give them to you. Because this is one of those I normally just, you throw some of this, you throw a little bit of that, a pinch of this. No, today we're going to have proper measurements to make sure you can follow along. So let's see what we're working with today. So here are our ingredients. Self-rising flour. You can use all-purpose flour, but you have to add all the other stuff to it. It's easy. It's just get self-rising. Chicken. I like thighs. That's my favorite part. Most people will take a whole chicken, cut it up, or they'll just do drumsticks or whatever. I like thighs. There you go. A couple of eggs. Italian seasoning, garlic salt, black pepper. Now you can get oregano and paprika and all these other ingredients, or just get the Italian and the garlic salt. They've already got all of that in it. And of course, a little black pepper. And it just isn't southern fried chicken without buttermilk. Canola oil, you can also use peanut oil. It's better than vegetable oil because it doesn't affect the flavor. It's just oil. So there's what we're working with today. So let's get to it. Okay, the first thing is the buttermilk brine. We need to put the chicken in here and let it soak. Overnight's best, but at least 4 hours. So I'm going to put this in and let it soak and then come back later and actually cook it. So to make the brine, of course, we have our chicken, we have our buttermilk, and we have our seasonings. I'm going to get my little hand blender, or hand mixer. Like I said, I actually wrote down the proportions, make sure this is done absolutely right. Cup, teaspoon, tablespoon. Yeah, I'm doing this by the numbers, hence the glasses. Okay, so we want 2 separate containers. One, we're going to make the powder mix. I keep my flour in a Ziploc bag just to make sure it doesn't get infested. Any kind of little creepy crawlies that might make their way into my closet or in my pantry. So we'll start with our flour. We want 1.5 cups of flour. My grandmother would be freaking out if she saw me do it this way and not sifting it, but you see like chunks, that's what the sifting does. 1.5 cup of self-rising flour. Like I said, because there's so much other stuff in here besides just garlic and salt, that's all your paprika, oregano, and other things. So 2 tablespoons garlic salt. Okay, next up, 2 tablespoons black pepper. 1, 2. Okay, so we're going to mix all this up nice and neat. Put this in a smaller bowl. We don't want to use it all right off the bat. I could have done this in the smaller bowl to start with. It's just easier to mix it in the big bowl. So we'll set the mixture aside. Now, for the chicken, we're going to mix this stuff up. Okay. Here's our buttermilk. My dad loves to drink this stuff. Me, not so much. It's great for this sort of thing, but to just arbitrarily drink it? Ew. Okay, 2 cups of buttermilk, 2 fresh eggs. I don't make a mess on the counter. You want to set about clean as you go. Save you a lot of trouble later. Okay, 2 fresh eggs. Okay, back to the garlic salt. Tablespoon and a half of the garlic salt. And a teaspoon. A teaspoon. Come on, open. There. Little teaspoon of the black powder. Black pepper, sorry. Sorry, it's weird actually trying to do this following, written instructions. This is normally when I just kind of throw it together and make it work. Okay, now mix this stuff up. Some people add a little cayenne pepper in the mix. I don't. But I know of people who do. Now, when it comes to the chicken, you can take off the skin, the fat if you're all into healthy eating. But as you know, the best part of fried chicken is the skin. So, make sure you kind of open the chicken up. Get it all good and settled into the mixture. Okay, it's all in. Now, just want to make sure, you know what, heck with that. My finger's dirty. I'm going to mix it around in the juice, the brine as they call it, and make sure that all of the chicken is completely coated with this buttermilk mix. Try to get it all down in so it's completely covered. And now I'm going to put all this in, well, I'm going to clean my hands first. Put all this in the fridge and let it sit for about 4 hours. So, see you in a little while.
Many hours later.
Take it out of the fridge every once in a while. Get your your favorite spoon and just mix them around, just to make sure that the mixture, the batter, gets into the chicken. It doesn't just sit and drain down. Pull from the bottom up, and really be rough with it, because you really want to work. Work the meat. Make sure that that batter, the brine, is getting into everything, up under the skin, into all the nooks and crannies and crevices of this little dead bird. And we're not too terribly far from being ready to cook. You just want to make sure you're getting all that good brine all up into the meat. Now I'll put it back in the fridge. Let it sit a little longer.
Eventually.
Now, if you want to do traditional southern fried chicken right, you got to use a cast iron skillet. However, I have this much larger and deeper skillet. I'm going to use that instead. Don't hate me. Now, for y'all's edification, I actually went out and looked this up. Heat up your oil. It's supposed to be heated to 425 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, just get it good and boiling, splash a little water in, and when you hear that deep bubbling underneath, yeah, it is hot enough. So get ready. I have, this is actually a pizza cooker sitting over his pan. I need something to set it on. I put half the powder in here. Here's the rest for sprinkling over top. We'll just start setting our chicken in it. And pull it out, kind of let the buttermilk come off, lay it flat in the pan of, let's say powder, of flour. Set these down in here. I'm still mastering on making sure I've got it good and well coated, all the little nooks and crannies. Okay, there's 3 of them. Sprinkle a little bit over top. I'm going to definitely run out of this before I get all the way through them, but it's a good place to start. Pick them up, flop them around a little bit, make sure they're good and coated. Set them in the pan. Drag them around in the flour, make sure they're good coating of flour. Set them in the pan. You can pick them up by hand, it just makes such a mess. Whoop. See how it's a nice coating? That buttermilk brine, whoops, gets it to stick really well. Okay, next. Could do these one at a time, but I'm gonna burn them for 3 at a time, just because. Now, this is dark meat. Dark meat cooks a little slower than white meat. White meat will cook in 8 to 10 minutes. You want 12 to 15 for dark meat. Something I've done in the past is when I take it out of the oil and put it all on the platter, I'll then throw it in the microwave for 2 or 3 minutes just to make sure it's done down in the middle. You don't want to bite into a piece of fried chicken and have blood come out. Or any kind of chicken for that matter. Okay, that should be enough. Actually, that is enough for our first batch because there's only so much room in the skillet. So I'll get the camera moved over here. You can watch, check the temperature, and move on to step 2. I put the lid on the pot as I was heating up the oil just to hold the heat in, help it heat a little faster. I'm going to check it. Just basically splash a little water. Yep. Hear that? That water is boiling up quickly. It is definitely good and ready. So, oh yeah, see it immediately starts frying up. Now, for y'all's edification, once again, I'm going to set my timer, let's say 12 minutes. 12. You want 12 to 15 minutes. We'll let this just go. After a little while, I'll flip it over and just keep checking. Okay, about 9 minutes left. I went ahead and turned the heat down just to make sure it doesn't overcook. I'm about to turn the chicken. Also, while I was cooking, I went ahead and got the rest of the chicken done and ready. So when this is done, I can then put this in. Go ahead and let me clean off my tongs before I move on to the next step. And what I said about cooking as you go. It's getting good and brown and crispy. But honestly, it's getting a little too brown. So I turn the heat down. So we'll let that keep going. Still got 8 minutes left. And then we'll pull it up and it should be about ready. Stand by. Okay, so our timer's done. Now take it out. I don't just set them on a paper towel and make for a soggy spot. I came with a little rack. It's not, you know, the best looking thing in the world, but it works. You sit on the rack, then the oil and stuff can drain instead of just sitting flat on a paper towel, which, like I said, will get soggy. You set these out and you get the next batch into the oil. Oops. Darn it, get up there. First of all, what do you think? Good looking chicken? Okay, let's get these guys in the oil. You turn the oil back up. Looks like the temperature has started to come down a little bit. 3. And of course, while the chicken's cooking, I'm cleaning. So when I'm done, that's a lot less for me to have to worry about. Okay, we'll let the rest of this cook. I'll be back in another 12 minutes. See you then. I cut open the thickest piece of chicken, and it's still a little pink in the middle. Not really bleeding, but just a little pink. So, I'll put them in the microwave, 2 minutes. That'll finish them off in the middle. Okay, so I nuked it for 2 minutes, and you can see now, I don't know if you can see that, but it's no longer pink inside. The trick is to do this immediately while it's still like in cooking mode, I guess. As soon as you take it out, immediately do that. Don't let the chicken cool down and then come back and nuke it later. No, you want to do it right away so it can just basically finish cooking on the inside. If you have a, you know, like a probe, thermometer probe, that's great. You can stick it in the middle and see where it is in relation to cooking. I don't have one of those, so I'm kind of having to, you know, guesstimate. And that's the thing. Cut open the biggest piece of chicken and see what the middle looks like. Here we'll go ahead and flip this chicken over. It's been cooking a while. This we're going to leave in a little longer because I had turned, remember I turned down the temperature, the oil cooled down a little bit. I turned it back up to heat it back up. Did I get all of them? There we go. And it wasn't heating up as quickly because there was a lot more chicken there. So we still got 4 minutes to go. After 4 minutes, we'll probably do a couple of more. This is one of those where you just kind of eyeball it. When the outside is about the right color of brown, take it out and check it. Okay, we're at 12 minutes. With the chicken, still a little light. Let it cook at least a couple more minutes. Get a little bit more brown. Then take it out, test it. Probably, like I said, need to nuke it for a couple of minutes. Yeah, it's still a little light. You see, I washed my little pizza strainer thing so I can set the chicken in this. Let it drain. I'll nuke it like on a regular plate, obviously, not on a metal thing, but we just got to get it out and let the oil drain off a little bit first. So, a couple more minutes. Stand by. Okay, we'll shut her down. Looks like we're about ready. You see, yeah, it's nice golden brown. The oil drain a little bit. Set up here, finish draining. What I'll do is I'll let it sit on this rack, drain the oil off for a minute or so, and I'll put it on a regular plate and throw it in the microwave for a couple of minutes just to make sure it's done all through and through. Now, one piece of chicken that I pulled and tested earlier, I can't really show it to you because I kind of ate it. It was really, really good. The meat inside was juicy and flavorful. Because it's dark meat, it was nice and juicy and tender, and because it had been brining for a few hours, had a lot of good flavor down deep inside. Okay, I'll let this sit and drain for a couple of minutes, and then I'll set it on a regular plate, throw it in the microwave, make sure it's done through and through, and you'll be ready to serve. This is why I don't make fried chicken all that often. Oh, excuse me. This is why I don't make fried chicken all that often. While I love it and it's delicious, it's a lot of work. It's just too easy to run through the church's drive-thru. I mean, even the grocery store chicken has been getting much better. They've really been stepping up their game. Walmart fried chicken is still pretty yucky though. Anyway, let's let it drain. See you in a minute. Okay, it is sizzling and steaming like crazy. Some people will take their chicken and stick it in the oven as soon as it's done frying. Put it on a rack and bake it for a little while. And I can see, yeah, that the distinct advantage of that, it would make the skin, crispy. You can do that if you like. I don't know. I don't. I just look at people I know do that. You see, this chicken, here, I'll show you one of them up close. Ow, that's hot. That is some good fried chicken. And since I am all alone, all of this fried chicken, obviously way more than I can eat today. However, I'll make me some mashed potatoes to go with it. And this will be my lunch for the next few days at work. Really miss having someone to cook for. Oh well. Yeah, here, this is the one that I cut open. You can see the meat is juicy and tender, and because it was brined all that time, there's a lot of flavor in the meat, and of course the skin. It's, yeah, really delicious. Like I said, it's just, it's a lot of work to make. But you also notice everything's nice and clean because as I go, I'm steadily cleaning. Now that I'm done, I really don't have much to clean. I'm just gonna stack all the rinsed and wiped off stuff into the dishwasher. I don't have to pick up and wipe down after myself. So anyway, there you have it. If you like fried chicken, put a comment below. Let me know. What's your favorite place to get fried chicken? Me personally, I like Church's Fried Chicken. And if you're from around here, I like the one over on 103rd Street at the corner of Schindler and Old Middleburg and 103rd, where they meet. Oh, that is the best. I know people like Popeyes or whomever, but I'm a Church's guy. Where do you like fried chicken from? And if you like the video, hit the little thumbs up button for me. And of course, if you would, subscribe. Tell your friends. Anybody that likes fried chicken, say, hey, check this out. You might like this. And on that happy note, be seeing you.